here to share his passion and his knowledge, Jordan David.
Great, thank you. I think I'm mic'd up here, so I don't need that. All right. Rhythm is a strong, regular, repeated pattern of movement or sound. When I think about rhythm, I think about life. I think about connecting with a room full of strangers. I think about road trips, listening to records. I think about all of these things, but one memory comes to mind when I think about rhythm. There's actually a quote. And the quote, it's by an artist by the name of Thea Austin. And that quote is, "Rhythm is a dancer. It's a soul's companion. You can feel it everywhere." This has been a bit of a mantra for me. I remember hearing it as a kid, and it kind of stuck with me. So as I go through life, I recognize these words are so true. Rhythm is a dancer. It's a soul's companion. You can feel it everywhere. All right, so finding your rhythm. What do you do to find your rhythm? Do you have a toolkit? Are there things that you do on a daily basis that help center you, to make you feel balanced? For me, we're going to talk about 3 pillars that I sort of follow on a daily basis. And this is how I find my rhythm. And that starts with listening and observing. This is paying attention, active listening, and asking questions. If you're curious, ask a question. Participation and collaboration. Developing a practice, showing up for yourself, collaborating and putting yourself out there to connect with others. And the last part of that is body movement. The side effects, you may feel good. There's no downsides to body movement and dance. It allows you to connect with yourself and allows you to connect with others. All right, so we're going to start off with listening and observing. And I think for me, if we're going to explore this, we need to go to the start. So we need to take you back to the early days of my life where I learned the art of listening and observing. Now, for as long as I can remember, I've always felt connected to rhythm and music. This has been part of my life. And a big part of that was my family. So in this photo here, you see my sister in the middle. She's a very talented singer. She sang in choirs, very expressive. My dad, he was a singer. He sang in choirs as well, and he also sang in bands. You may be familiar with Earth, Wind, and Fire. He was not part of that band. He was part of a band called Light Flash Fire, very inspired by the group. And my mom, she was not a singer or a musician, but she had amazing taste in music, very eclectic taste. She had a lot of records and tapes and CDs. So I remember growing up hearing artists like Elton John, Aretha Franklin, hearing Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson. All these sounds played all the time. And another thing about my mom was she would take time to go dancing on the weekends. So I remember being a kid and she would be getting ready on a Friday night. And for me, I would be getting ready with her. And she would go with her friends and I would stay home and I'd keep the party going. And part of my party was watching Much Music. So I don't know if anyone here was into Much Music. But for me, that was it gave me so much freedom to explore music and sound. One of my favorite programs was Electric Circus. So if you're not familiar with the program, it's a televised rave. I watched it the other day and I was like, wow, this is a rave on TV. And I felt connected to this energy, this rave energy. And so I think, my mom dancing on a regular basis and me getting this sort of information from TV, and normalized dancing as a therapy, as a way of enjoying yourself. So that's where it all started for me, with listening, observing, being in these spaces. And the jump from being a kid to sort of finding my rhythm and finding my flow, this is a period of self-expression and self-discovery. This was putting myself out there into situations that weren't so comfortable. It was new to me. And part of that was being in spaces that resembled, where am I pointing this thing? So it's a bit pixelated, but what you're seeing here is a hardcore show. This is at Club Saw in 2002. I believe the band playing was Miles Between Us. Any hardcore kids here? Any punk rockers? Awesome. So it was in these spaces where I really learned self-expression. I was exposed to these young folks just doing it, making it happen. And it felt like there was always a show, always a party, always something going on. So it kind of like swept up my world. This is what I did on a regular basis. And I was exposed to a term, more of an ethos, I would say. You might be familiar with it. That is DIY. So when you hear DIY, what do you think of? Maybe it's, yeah, exactly, doing it yourself. So, maybe you're, maybe you do things at home, you have home projects, and you're just making it happen. That's DIY, that's part of it. But for me, in sort of the punk context, that meant sort of thinking inside the box. It was a reminder that the best tools are the ones you have access to. It also helped me build an attitude of self-reliance and independence. And it's something that I carry with me to this day. Every job I've had, it's always been this idea of you need to just make it happen. In festival work, you need to just do it. So finding ways to do it and not sort of waiting for someone to do it for you, that's something that I carry with me on a regular basis, on a daily basis. Now, through the listening and observing, the next step for me was a participation in collaboration, and a big part of that was playing in bands. So seeing bands on stage, asking questions, I got enough confidence to do it myself. And this experience for me lasted, I think, just over a decade. Started when I was 13, till I was about 25. But in these spaces, what you're seeing here, a bit pixelated, but this is a jam space. And for me, this was the best part of being in a band. There's aspects of entrepreneurship, so you're writing music, you're recording music, you're playing shows, maybe you're managing your merchandise. But for me, the best part was being in the jam space and just creating without any rules, just creating and flowing. And it was in this space where I learned the joy of showing up for myself and developing a creative practice, using the skills of listening and observing to really take in what's happening in the room. Need some water here, folks, in a second. How this better. And for me, this was groundbreaking because I was able to express feelings that I didn't have words for. So I'm grateful to have had that experience, to have been able to put my energy into this thing with other individuals. I think being vulnerable is a hard thing for a lot of people, but it was made easy with trusted friends and pals. So the jam session, the biggest lessons from this for me were allowing ideas to present themselves, the beauty in a ritual, so showing up on a weekly basis. I recognized that this is a space where magic happens, so just by showing up, something would happen. I also realized that in order for that to happen, I had to get out of my own head. I had to just be one with the room, be present. And this is where I learned how to follow the lead and also take the lead. So this dance you have to do in a band. Someone's doing something, you have to be present in what they're doing, and if they need some help, you need to help them out on the other side of it. So very valuable lessons in that for me. And finally, bands equal bonds, and bonds for life. And what I mean by that is, if you've ever been vulnerable with somebody in a creative setting, or maybe you did an event together, you're sort of tethered by this feeling and this experience that you can both connect with. If things went good or bad or whatever it is, you have that memory. And so for me, I think about all the aspects of playing shows and, did we make money on the show? It doesn't really matter. Like, all that stuff is secondary to the connections that were made and those relationships that live beyond the show or the event, but we're connected by that experience. So supporting yourself and community. Now for me, this was going to shows, supporting friends, meeting people, being exposed to new ideas. This helped inform my creative process, developing a rhythm around my creative practice on a weekly basis, and then showcasing the work. And I say showcasing the work as the final part there because it's easy as artists to just do things and not share it. I think a big part of that is, fear of judgment. We all deal with this thing where it's like we put it out there. Will people see it? Will they recognize it? Will they like it? But it's so important to put it out there because showcasing your work could inspire somebody. And that energy is universal. So if it's one person and they decide to do something similar, or they feel confident to share whatever it is their creative thing is. To me, it's worth it. So, the downsides are, yes, you might be embarrassed, but the upsides are you're uplifting a community and you're giving your community permission to do the same thing. And part of sort of getting out of your own way and getting out of your head, for me, was body movement and dance. I feel like, you can't really be mad while dancing. Have you tried to be angry while dancing? I think it's impossible. I also think, for me, tapping into flow states in dance, it's been essential to my creative process. I think about connecting with individuals, a room full of strangers, hearing one song that we all connect to, and making friendships. I remember dancing and sort of falling in love with my wife. We've been married for 10 years. Like, these things, these friendships and bonds that were started on dance floors are so vital. And if you don't give yourself space to dance and move, it doesn't have to be in a club, it could be at home. But you should do that because it feels good. So again, it's a mood booster. It has the power to heal. You can tap into a flow state. So if you're ever sort of feeling a little shaky, give a dance. Try dancing and moving and see what happens. And the other part of it is it allows you to connect with yourself and others. All right, so communities connected through rhythm. For me in my journey, this was vital, being in spaces where I could relate to people, I could see new ideas. I think about spaces like Mercury Lounge, going there to have a dance. And for me, again, back to that sort of, asking questions, listening, observing, and participating, volunteering, working the door. If you ever want to get to know a community, volunteer to work the door. You're gonna meet people, and it's amazing. It's amazing what happens. You'll hear stories, people who are passionate about what they do. So for me, this is what I did. I took the opportunity just to meet as many people as possible, ask those questions, and I was like a detective in the rave. I was asking questions, and I was growing, and I was meeting other people who were on a similar journey, who wanted to put something out there and share their work and sort of put something that they weren't seeing in the city. So the first example of that for me was with the group called Music Art People. So Music Art People, it's a collective. We've been active since 2015. And a big part of why we started, again, was just to showcase the things that we were into. A lot of that was based around house music and techno, combined with live art, visual projections, and then the people aspect of like just people meeting and like no pretentiousness, just meeting people. And the other part of that was the people who would come to the events often wanted to be featured in those events. So we didn't have to look far to find collaborators. I think about our journey. It's been so long, and for me, it's been such a growing experience. We've started a label, we release music, we have a radio show, and it's honestly been, it's something I'm so proud of. But the people that I meet at these events, some of you are here today, maybe that's how you know me. These are the relationships I'm talking about when we're talking about building connections throughout community that are connected through rhythm. Recently, we've been doing workshop series. This is from last month. We did a emerging artist workshop series. And the idea was to just empower artists with tools and skills that they may be lacking. So maybe that's marketing, maybe that's public speaking, maybe that's learning about certain gear or whatever it is. We want to sort of give that back and and find the professionals who can help with those tools to basically empower the community. Another part of what we've been doing is working with youth. We recognize that if we want a strong scene, we want a strong community, we need to sort of look ahead beyond what we're doing. So this is us. We worked with the Boys and Girls Club, and we did a workshop day where we taught them about events, graphic design, setting up an event, what do you need to do, the technical side of setting up a DJ mixer, what do these buttons do? And it was pretty amazing to see some of these kids who had never seen any of this gear before just take to it so quick. In the photo to the far right, it's a girl named Abigail. She never DJ'd in her life, but she was so good. And I was like, oh crap, like you're gonna like take everyone's job now. But it was just really cool to see this young mind just sort of be so into this experience. And teaching these kids about lighting, teaching these kids about, just making an event their own. I remember having a mentor in high school. His name was Mario Deller. And in high school, I organized my high school fashion show with other individuals. And for me, it was so important to have this kind of figure who was giving me, guidance on things that I didn't have experience with. So I think if you have a skill that you're passionate about, try teaching it. You might learn something from that skill or from that individual. And here are the kids who were having a great time at the event. The next project I want to talk about is Pull Up Ottawa. Pull Up, woo! This was started because we really wanted to feature sounds that we weren't hearing in our city. So those sounds included breaks, garage, jungle, and rave anthems. It's more of like a higher tempo, higher BPM, if you will. So the project started just over a year ago. And I can honestly say out of all the events that I've been part of, this community is growing at a really, really fast rate. In the left photo up here, Simon, he's one of the co-founders. We sort of planted the seed like 10 years ago. And then the pandemic happened and life happened. And there was sort of this sense of urgency to do something. You can think about ideas all the time, but if you never act on it, they'll never come to life. So we decided to do this. We enlisted the help of our friend Sasha, who is maybe one of the best technical DJs I've ever met. And you can't really see him in the back, but Sadeeb, so this young gentleman in the back, I think he's about 20 or 21. His first experience with clubbing was through Pull Up. And through conversations, through listening and observing, we quickly realized that he was into AV, he was into lighting. So he offered to do lighting. And he's one of the best lighting techs I've ever worked with. And he loves the party, he loves the event. Over here, to the right, there's a gentleman by the name of Ben. So Ben is not on social media. His brother actually saw a flyer and sent it to him. And he came to the party not knowing anybody. And we've dubbed him the Prince of Pull Up because he is just like, lights up a room. It's pretty amazing, to go to a party by yourself, but then to make all these friends. In the bottom left, this is an artist by the name of Sharpson. He was our first international artist that we booked from the UK, who does similar things in the UK, but sort of came to experience what we do here. And then in the right corner, this is an important one here because this is myself with an artist by the name of Interplanetary Criminal. He's one of my favorite producers. He's having a bit of a moment right now. He's playing Glastonbury, he's got a boiler room, but he's sort of at the top of his game, touring the world. Next to him is Simon and Sasha. So we booked him in the summer on a Wednesday night, and it was sold out. And if you would have asked me a year ago, would you be booking this artist? And the name might mean nothing to you, but to me it's like, oh my gosh, she's amazing. But I wouldn't have believed it, But I think it's a reminder to just keep dreaming and to set high goals. You never know until you try, and I think often we kill dreams before they start, right? So now I'm thinking, what else can we do? This was like a beautiful moment. And again, just a reminder to dream big, connect dots. And I think a big part of why he played the party was it's so authentic to the sound. We're not trying to be something that we're not. We're just trying to share the sound that we love. And he resonated with that in a big way. So again, just a reminder to do the thing, put it out there, and you might connect with other individuals who feel that way as well. Afterlight. So this project was started out of the need to have more events during the week. I realize in Ottawa, there's not a lot of options. And a lot of people say Ottawa is a boring city. And that's not true at all. But there's not a lot to do on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or a Thursday. We recognize that. So we started Afterlight. And the beautiful thing about this project is it sort of brought in all these people that I don't know. DJs, music goers, and just citizens of Ottawa who just want to be social. It's a space for community to gather. And it's been really neat to see The space takeoff. I think right now the strongest thing we have going is a Thursday night. It's sort of become a staple, Concept Thursday. And it's really neat to see all these individuals coming together to celebrate the space and to showcase the sound that they're really passionate about. So what do all these projects, what do they have in common? Well, they're all driven by extremely passionate folks. The projects, or the people in the projects inspire me in my creative process. They're all communities that were created through rhythm, and they're all examples of collaborations. So I think with that being said, talking about collaboration, do you guys want to collaborate today? Let's do something. All right, so you'll notice I have this gear here. I'm just gonna play a few things. If you feel the need, or if you're open to it, I'm gonna prompt you and you can get involved. So I'm gonna start things off and we'll see where it goes. All right. Louder? How's that? How's the volume? Louder? So that's fine. That's loud enough. It's a Friday morning. All right. Check. Two, check. Ooh, that is hot. All right, so again, the jam. There are no rules to the jam. I need someone to just do some positive gibberish. Anyone do some positive gibberish? Something like, yeah, okay, all right. Somebody, anybody. Any takers? Yeah? Would you want to do it? Come on, yeah, come here. Yeah, come here. Let's. Okay. Oh, no. Okay, that's okay. I'll start it off. How about that? Yeah, okay, all right, let's go. 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 Yeah, okay, all right, let's go.
Yeah, okay, all right, let's go. Yeah, okay, all right, let's go. Yeah, okay, all right, let's go. Yeah, okay, all right, let's go. Yeah, okay, all right, let's go. Yeah, okay, all right, let's go. Yeah, okay, all right, let's go. Yeah, okay, all right, let's go. Yeah, okay, all right, let's go. Yeah, okay, all right, let's go. Yeah, okay, all right, let's go. Yeah, okay, all right, let's go. Yeah, okay, all right, let's go. Yeah, okay, all right, let's go. Yeah, okay, all right, let's go. Yeah, okay, all right, let's go. Yeah, okay, all right, let's go. Yeah, okay, all right, let's go. Yeah, okay, all right, let's go. Yeah, okay, all right,
Rhythm is fun and freedom and big friend. Rhythm is living.
We're starting a bit of drama, or the build-up, if you will.
Rhythm is fun and freedom and expression. Rhythmic scribbling and rhythmic collage.
Alright, you want to say rhythm is? Rhythm is living.
Rhythm is fun, freedom, and expression.
Anybody want to rap? Any rappers in the house? No, I'm joking. All right. That wasn't so bad, was it? All right, cool. So, I'm sorry, we didn't have your consent on sampling you with your quotes on rhythm. My apologies. If anybody is an artist here, you have SOCAN, we can register you. You can get paid for your time on that. All right, so my creative process, part of it is disconnecting so I can get connected. What I mean is, when I'm in this space, I like to turn my phone off and just focus on just creation. Part of my process is creating loops and building grooves. So if I can find like 4 bars that work, I can use that to build a song. Thinking outside the box, getting weird. I think this was like whatever, and then sharing that idea with collaborators. I think that's where the magic happens. Me getting weird, and then you getting weird, and then we have this weird thing that we can, say that we built together. Oh gosh! All right. So takeaways: listen actively and ask questions. I think just participating and sharing your passion with others, it can lead to building lasting connections and community. Make time to connect with yourself and develop a creative practice. We all have the power to inspire those around us. And the other part is dance more. So if, again, the dancing part is so important. If you just want to get out of your head, try body movement. Maybe we can try a bit later today. And the last final point I want to just stress is that we are all creative, and we're all creators. So any doubts about your creativity, just toss it aside, because I believe in you, and sometimes you just need to have that one person who believes in you. So I will be that person for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jordan. That was amazing. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Disproving the myth that DJs just hit play, showing us in real time. That's wild. That's so amazing. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
I'll take this finicky clicker from you. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
We've got time for questions. I think Jordan shared with us a lot from the technical side, I swear to God. From the technical side, from his personal story, from his current ongoing. So if you have a question for Jordan, this is the time to ask. We'll have Araceli running around with a mic, so just put up your hand and we'll bring the mic over to you.
Oh, back there. Don't need the mic.
Okay.
Jordan, what's next?
Yeah, what's next? Well, I'm looking to dive deeper into my production practice. So just focusing on making music and releasing more music.
Where do these events take place?
Say it again.
Where do these events take place?
That's a great question. They happen all over the city. Yeah.
How do you find out?
So if you want to find out about these events, every project has social media. So Pull Up Ottawa, at Pull Up Ottawa. Our next event is happening on next Friday at City at Night. Pull Up Ottawa, at Music Art People. Yeah, they're happening in different spaces, but just follow us on socials. Music Art People, Pull Up Ottawa, and myself, JD Fun, on Instagram and Facebook.
Where's your new stuff going to come out? Spotify kind of styles?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So through our label, we release music on Spotify, and I'm going to use what we sort of co-created here today. I'll release it on SoundCloud, but on Spotify, all musical platforms. Yeah. Oh.
Hi, Jordan. Great job today. I don't really have a question, but I just want to say I really admire your ability to blend your passion for creativity and community together. And I think Ottawa needs more of that. So kudos to you. I guess, okay, I'll add a question. How can we help you do more of this amazing work that you already do today?
How can you help me? I think you can help me by just doing the thing that fuels you. So, I think Ottawa, we have a lot of creative folks in our city. So just doing the things that, inspire you, support events. I mean, I just want to see the city sort of blossom, and it is already. So just, check out the city, check out what's happening, and we can stay connected on socials. Obviously, I'll keep posted what I'm doing, but yeah, just support things that are happening. So not necessarily me, just support the community.
Did you run for Nightmare? And if not, how can we convince you to?
Wow, Nightmare. You know what? That's a funny thing. No, I have no desire to be Nightmare. I actually really like staying in on weekends, so I don't think I'm the right candidate for Nightmare.
What's Nightmare?
It's a position. Ottawa, City of Ottawa is hiring someone to not Nightmare. The mayor of the night is essentially what they're referring to. Nightlife. Sorry.
Nightmare's a good event.
Okay, I have a two-part question.
Yeah, sure.
What is the wildest collaboration you've ever done? Part one. Part two, what is the one that makes your heart beat faster that you haven't done yet?
Ooh, well, the wildest collaboration I've ever done was probably with an artist by the name of Aymara, and she is an amazing artist. But we did a show once where she had whips and chains. And it was pretty wild. I mean, we were at Mercury Lounge. I think she dinged up the floors. But just working with someone who's so expressive, it definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone. But also it was a beautiful experience. And I kind of welcome that kind of stuff too, a bit of chaos. I think it's great. And what was the second question?
What's the collaboration you haven't done yet that makes your heart beat faster that you can't wait to do?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, my wife and I have talked about doing a project together, so that makes me feel pretty good. So maybe that's the one for sure. Yeah.
Thanks again, Jordan. So I like creativity is so much about experimentation. Can you walk us through maybe something that might have failed and where you went next out of that failure?
Yeah, well, I don't necessarily believe in failures. I think, there's lessons in everything. I was definitely pretty eager and ambitious to try things throughout my career. One was a project called Morning Jam. This is like a morning dance party, and it was not a failure by any means. But the idea that I had, I was like, oh, it's going to sweep the nation. It's going to be amazing. Everybody wants to wake up at 5 a.m. and go for a dance. And I quickly realized that people want to dance at 10 or 11, and it wasn't really a morning jam. It was like an afternoon jam. And so it wasn't a failure, but maybe that's how you can help me. Start dancing here at these events. Create your own morning jams, and that would probably be it. It definitely got a lot of feeling into it. When you have an idea and you just think it's going to be the best thing ever. It was great, but it definitely didn't catch on like I thought it would. Any other questions?
I was going to ask what happened to morning jam.
Yeah.
What about morning people who don't like going out past 10 o'clock at night?
Yeah, I mean, it was myself and one other individual who were organizing that. They no longer live in Ottawa. And it's so fun doing events by yourself. So, I mean, I'm willing to do it if you want to do it, but I don't want to do it by myself.
What you did there where you were improvising with something you said and stuff,
Has that been done before? That seems like something they should do at all clubs, because then it would like create an original song on the spot, and people would feel like they're involved and they're in something that's only happening right then, and it proves that you're actually doing something. I too thought DJs just pretend to turn knob.
Well, I do think there are a lot of artists who are, they call it a live set. So there's artists like Fred again who are like, they do this, it's more of a concert, it's less of a party. But people are doing it. I don't know if people do it on a regular basis. In a club, you're kind of, the standard gear is like CDJs, which is sort of this setup right here. So bringing extra things in, sometimes the space doesn't allow for it. But I agree, I think more spontaneity, I think more just, experimentation makes things interesting. So I'm all for it. Hey.
What's your favorite DJ set or performance that you've ever seen? What's your best experience?
Oh, that's a great question. Can you repeat the question? Oh yeah, sorry. What was, okay.
What is your favorite DJ experience or performance that you've been to?
Yeah, wow, so many come to mind. I once saw, so I was in Barcelona, and I saw one of my favorite artists. His name is Macioplex. He played a show. They do a thing there. Well, they do it in Montreal. Also, Picnic Electronic. So seeing him, which was kind of a surprise because we booked the trip, and he had played a show the day before, and we're like, oh no, like how did we miss this? But then he played while we were there as well. So yeah, I think seeing Macioplex in Barcelona was like pretty amazing for me.
Well, give it up for Jordan David. Thank you. Thank you.